What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dove. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
What's going on, JJ Wang? For our listeners, you won't know, but this is attempt number 2, Secret to Podcasting. Make sure you push the record button when you're having a conversation. We got great stuff to tell you this morning, but week 3 is in the books. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, it was, some not as many high scores as you was probably hoping for. I mean, there was a couple breakouts here and there, but I mean, it was a good week. This is actually the first week I got to sit down and really watch and pay attention to it. So, I mean, it was different. How you doing?
Yeah, I stayed up too late watching a game last night that I really had no winning vested interest in. I had one league, our big league, where I was competing for high score of the week. And thank you, Ezekiel Elliott, for doing wonderful, and for the passing game for just being good, but not having to do anything because the Eagles looked pretty much like puke for most of the game, and for throwing to Cedric Wilson and not good old CD Lamb. That was magnificent for me.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I'd like to thank Zach Ertz for having a decent game to break me. At least I break 100.
Yeah.
So I felt good about that. Don't want to get into the double digits.
I needed some Goddard, but oh well. That is why I have one team that lost by 1, and another team that lost by 3. That's a real slap. But at least I wasn't the guy in our other league who lost by what, point 0.7 or something, point
Yeah, that's
0.8, something
unfortunate. Yeah,
crazy.
that hurts. That hurts sometimes.
But yeah, check out the Fantasy Couriers. You know where we are. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can email us at the fantasycouriers@gmail.com, or put some comments on YouTube. Anywhere we are, you put a question, we will answer it. Earlier in the season, we did a draft breakdown for a fan, or everything that you need to know about us is on the website, thefantasycouriers.wixsite.com/website. I've always put it down in the comments of the podcast or the YouTube channel. So check us out, hit us up, send us a question. We're looking for 50 subscribers on YouTube. We are currently at 44, I believe, last time I checked. Can we get there? Will we ever get there? I don't know. But hey, friends, hook us up. If you're really our friend, just do it. Just hook a brother up. Hook a brother up. But enough about the interweb. We know where everything is. Let's get into the big news of the week.
Yeah, so we'll start with injuries. I guess the biggest injury would be AJ Brown. He got that hamstring injury. I guess right in the first quarter, didn't score very many points.
He
Um,
did not.
like I said, he did not a great start to the season. But that whole nobody in that passing attack was really doing well well this week. But
Oh,
I know you got a lot invested in AJ Brown. How do you feel about it?
he's one of those guys that I never won on my team. Like, he's a great beast of a man. Could you imagine him and DK? We've talked about this. Him and DK together, just monster men. I ended up with him in 2 leagues. I had one friend convince me to bid on him in our startup, and then I traded for him to get him back from the team that I traded him to in another dynasty. I have no interest, but AJ Brown's a great receiver. For me, he's a bigger hit than what my comp would be like. My boy Tua, who I lost on other teams, but Tua wasn't scoring. So it didn't really kill me, and had other quarterbacks to back him up. But AJ, if you got AJ Brown, he's a second, third round vested pick, and that's pretty high up on your team. So you better hope you drafted well. Like, luckily on my other team, I still won because I played the worst team in the league without AJ Brown. But now I've got to figure it's hammy. I don't know what's happening next week. He could show up for 6 plays and then be done, and then next week play 20 and a whole game, and then like, hamstrings are the worst.
Yeah, they're not good. It's like the same thing McCaffrey's dealing with, that hamstring. I mean, it could pop off at any time, but yeah, it's a bummer when these uh, top guys go down. Then we got James White. I guess he suffered a hip injury, so it could be season ending. That's unfortunate. He's had a quite a good career, so it might open up a little bit more in that backfield there. But at this point,
Ramondre Stevenson, baby.
after week 3, I don't know if you could really start anybody back there.
No.
Juju, he broke some ribs. So, that was unfortunate because they already had Deontay Johnson go down and playing through a rib injury. You know, going to
Just
be tough. They say it's questionable for week 4.
who just Chase Claypool. You remember how to play football? The receiving core for the Steelers is decimated. we're gonna hit on the real receiving core. There's basically a one-man show going on. Everybody else on the team, well, unless we're gonna count Freiermuth, who snuck in a touchdown. He didn't even. We have so many surefire ways of touchdown. I didn't even throw Freiermuth in this week, but it's just sad. Like the rib injury. How's Juju gonna react? Is he gonna be IR'd like Tua was? It's the same kind of thing. Like ribs are painful for us, but some of the guys will throw on a jacket and play through it. I guess it depends upon your position too, but Juju's gonna get clobbered up the middle. I mean, he could be out a bit, or he's gonna be like, "Hey, tough it up."
Yeah, kudos to these guys for playing through that injury. I can barely walk. And then another one, KJ Hamler, the Denver wide receiver. Their core wide receiving core just continues to get injured. He tore his ACL, so he is out for the year. He's that speed guy, big play here, there, boomer bust. But I mean, he was turning into a good player though.
Yeah, I mean, he was my comp for him always is Djax, and on that team he was starting to step up where people thought he was going to be. He's not that guy that you're going to put in because he's got two studs in front of him. Well, for right now, one, and then but when Judy's back, but he was going to be that guy you need if you needed a plug and play guy, or if you played best ball, he's a great player. Any of the streaker guys are a great player for that could hook you up. But yeah, it's another blow to that a Denver team. I'll hit them up a little later as we get going, but it's another blow to a team, and they're still moving. That they're still plodding along.
Yeah, speaking of D Jackson, he looked like the D Jackson of old out there, running straight down the field past everybody. If he can get a couple of those games in, it's gonna be an exciting year. Good for the Rams.
He'll be hurt soon. Don't worry. He had his one game. It's supposed to be game one. I think he forgot. I guess as you get older, you forget things. He's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be good in game one, then I get hurt." So he's like, "I'm supposed to be good in game three, so I'll be hurt." That's yeah.
Well, I mean, he's
Rams.
still super fast out there. He looks fresh. Then another wide receiver, Josh Gordon's going to the Chiefs. Interested?
Not really. He's going to the Chiefs. I initially heard that. I'm like, whoa, sweet. Josh Gordon going to the Chiefs. Then I remembered, oh, wait, his name is not Tyreek or Kelsey. So it doesn't matter. He'll score one touchdown a month. As far as going to the Chiefs, I'm happy for the dude because we're gonna look back at this guy's career that got derailed partially due to addiction, partially due to a changing world. He earlier in his career, guys, was on an airplane, had like two beers, but as part of his deal with the NFL, he couldn't have any substances. So he lost another couple of years because he had a couple of beers on an airplane. Like nothing that anybody would have like after a hard week, sitting at home or at a bar at the end of the week. Nothing extremely out of the ordinary, but and then a lot of what he did is legal in most of the country now. So it's a sad thing. I know a lot of it bordered addiction. So I'm just glad to see that he's getting his demons behind him. He's moving forward. I'm going to root for the dude to have a great time. I think he's in a good situation with a good coach, good quarterback, and good supporting cast too. At least he's a solid number two. I mean, Nicole Hardman, if Josh Gordon is even a shell of himself, ciao, dude. Brian Pringle, you weren't here anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but we always it's like the same thing every time he comes back. We get excited and he never really does anything. And just,
The thing
yeah,
is
like
this
I
time
wish
there's
I wish the guy all the best. Stick with
I,
the wide receivers here. Hollywood Brown can't catch a cold, huh? That was
dude,
bad.
man, I'm sitting there on my team that I scored all the points and won the high score of the week. I had Lamar. I would have had like a league record or something if Hollywood could catch anything. Receivers every now and then are going to drop a pass. So drop one, okay, that's fine. Drop two, woo, drop three. Good grief, that was the worst one. I'm just sitting there just yelling, plopping on our thread. Hollywood, dude, he needs to wash off those gloves. Those gloves. If I put my glove down, I could probably pick up my mouse that I'm using for the podcast. He can't catch a football with these gloves covered in glue that'll stick Spider-Man him to a wall. I don't know what's going on with this dude. It was confidence by the end. Like I could have thrown him an underhand catch and he was going to drop it.
Yeah, like you said, they were right in his hands too. I mean, they should have been they were easy catches. I think they're catches he makes every other game.
Yeah,
Maybe after you miss that first one, it's just like, here you go. And then you get that second one, bam.
he did make.
But
I think after the last one, he made a couple of okay catches to close out, but
yeah, but
you
you're
don't
not going
remember
to
those.
remember. You're not going to remember those. You're going to
Not
remember those
one
big
bit.
three drops. Let's go to another guy who's playing pretty well. I mean, I'm a fan. He's been around a long time. He's always had that enticing that enticing guy you want to play, but you just never can. Cordarrelle Patterson. So he turned into an every week starter, maybe a solid flex play. I mean, he has 85 rushing yards and a touchdown, 153 receiving yards and a touchdown. He's getting 7 targets a game. I mean, it's something there.
He's a stud man's James White, maybe the closest comp right now, because his Mike Davis is still getting the percentage of the time in the backfield. So is there going to be a week where they're like, hey, our team's looking good. We're moving forward. I mean, not good. You know, it's the Falcons. Come on. But are we going to stop relying on old guys? Are they going to get too old that they're going to? But he's getting the receptions. He led the team in receiving yards this week, 7 targets, but his rushing average is 2.9. So you're depending upon receptions and hoping that he continues to get them, which is what he's going to get. So flex play, sure. Do I want to rely on him as a flex play? I hope not, but I would in desperation spots. Like he's not available in any of our waivers, but
Yeah, I mean, like he's putting up, I think it's 16 points,
yeah.
2 weeks in a row. So I mean, that's pretty.
He's also 31 years old and he's a running back. So we'll see one little clonk and hopefully as long as he keeps scat back in, he'll be okay. But
Yeah, I mean, that's always out there for. And they're behind a lot, so they're going to be throwing it
yeah.
all the time. But a couple big plays on Sunday. Start with that 109-yard return on a 68-yard field goal attempt, which I was rooting for so bad. I was like, this would be awesome. But
That
it
was
was a
pretty
pretty
gnarly.
exciting play to get that fast guy back there. You know, there's no really fast guys on the field goal team. So if you break that guy broke a couple tackles. I mean,
He did.
it was
I thought a
exciting.
guy had him ankled.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting, and I guess the biggest one was the 66-yard field goal off the crossbar. I thought it was going to bounce back, but I mean, it bounced forward. Justin Tucker, you know, he's been one of
Ooh.
the best kickers, you know, since he's been in the game. He's got a massive leg. I mean, so we'll ask the question. It was asked in a thread the other day or yesterday. Does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
Justin Tucker, I would say, does he only belongs in the Hall of Fame, but he's gonna be behind some guys. You got Vinatieri coming in. So if Vinatieri gets in the Hall of Fame, sure. If not, no. Like I think before him, I mean, wouldn't you say Adam Vinatieri best kicker the last 20 years?
I would
And
say
then
that. Yeah, I mean,
I'd say he's
I
a
mean,
more
he's put up a lot
consistent.
of points.
I mean, Justin Tucker is a great kicker, so that would be sort of my gauge. We're looking like none of the Anderson guys are in the Hall of Fame, I don't believe.
I
So
think Gary Anderson's in
is
there. I
Gary
think.
in? I guess I was
I
trying to
think
think if
one of
Fade
them's
got
in
in.
there. I was looking. I'm pretty sure I could be wrong though. But I mean, I think kickers kind of get a raw deal when it comes to the Hall of Fame. I mean,
Mhm.
if you're the best kicker in your time, I mean, and you put up good numbers according to what period of football you play in. I mean, they're part of the game. They're pretty important. I think they got to be more of them in there. There's only 3 of them in there now, 4 of them in there now. All older guys,
Yeah,
but
it
we
might
got
be
some good
something
ones
I got to
now.
think about, but
I
hey,
think he
if
belongs in
Zach
there.
Thomas is in the Hall of Fame, I don't care who it gets in because my boy Zach, my favorite player of all time, needs to get into the Hall of Fame. Underrated. Him and him and Jason Taylor were a duo and all. So it's I never know with Hall of Fame sometimes, but let's jump into our big takeaways of the week. I'm going to start with a devastating one because I only own half of this combo. The Rams are straight up legit. They they dominated the Bucks. The score doesn't really show it, but the Rams pretty much Brady still got what Brady got, but the Rams dominated the Bucks. Brady's going to get hit, but the takeaway from the Rams dominating the Bucks is Cooper Cup. We said it before. Cooper Cup is Matt Stafford's boy. We know the breakfast stories. We know that, but 12 targets, 9 receptions, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are most people's Super Bowl pick, except for DJ Dove, who has those Los Angeles Rams ready to roll. But that's not the biggest thing. Like we know Cooper Cup's legit, but our boy Robert Woods, we were high on Robert Woods. He is kicking me in the butt. I lost by 1 point because Robert Woods couldn't catch one more stinking pass. I mean, he got 6 targets for 3 catches and 33 yards. He is awful this year. Is what is there? His entire year is looking. Oh my gosh, he's got 33, 64, 27 yards from 3 to week 1. What do you do with Robert Woods? He's killing me.
Yeah, you really can't start him now. It's like I said, it's unfortunate because we were both high on him. I thought he would be better than this, but I guess when you got another receiver out there running around wide open, it that evidently can't be stopped. I mean, I guess you're going to throw it to him. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but we know Cooper Cup. At least we knew Cooper Cup had the ability to do it. It's not like some guy coming out of nowhere. But yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it'd be the other way around. It's unfortunate.
Oh, I thought it'd be more. I thought it'd be more equal, kind of like when we were trying to pick in years ago. It was like Diggs, Thielen, Cooper Cup, Robert Woods. One of them will be a little better. I didn't think it would be this. I could take Cooper Cup being better, but Robert Woods being this much not better is that even English? Is just wow.
Yeah. So speaking of being a little better, Mike Williams having a stellar year at the moment. He's got 295 yards and 4 touchdowns. This guy's so when I'm watching him play out every time he catches, I'm like, who's that tight end? This guy is gigantic. He gets up, I was like, jeez. So he's big, way bigger than I thought. But you know the issue that's always been with him is not the talent; it's been the injuries. If he can stay healthy, you know he's always had that ability. But so this year, I'm not going to say so far he's been healthy, but 3 games, we'll see. But I mean, he looks like a different man out there. He's right now. I think he's like right behind Cooper Cup as far as
Mm.
fantasy points go. Do you think he gets finished in the top 5?
I don't know. He's that guy I don't trust. I've been snake bitten, and I think that's where most of the community is. Of course, I was going against Mike Williams. Now there's a game I shouldn't have lost that I thought I was going to. Luckily, I came back, but I've seen this show before with, and the thing is, I've seen this movie before with Mike Williams and Cooper Cup. To me, they both have that thing where they're going to be like good, and then boom, injury. Like that's what scares me. I mean, Mike Williams is healthy. I was good. My first takeaway was going to be that entire team. Like the Chargers are straight up legit. And is it because Mike Williams is finally healthy that they have the two guys like like Keenan Allen's okay? He's not having his stellar season, but he at this point Keenan Allen almost doesn't need to have a stellar season if Mike Williams is going to be great. They could both sort of support each other in weeks up and down. But I want to trust Mike Williams, but he's that girlfriend that cheated on you, or that's the closest comp I got. Probably not a great comp, but you don't that trust isn't there because he's Mr. Glass. I saw him go down a few weeks ago going, oh no, there he goes again. I think I made a comment somewhere, but do you trust him?
Yeah, for I don't know. He's hard. I mean, like fortunately, I don't have any
Mm-mm.
stock in him, so you can't buy him right now. It's so like I said, I'd like to trust him, and we'll see. So I'm going to stick with my wide receivers here. I'm going to go to 2 of them, see which one you would choose here. You got Jamar Chase, and we'll stick to his college buddy, Justin Jefferson. Both having good years so far. They're both their number one receiver. Chase has been that big play threat, averaging 20 yards of reception. He's got those 4 touchdowns. And then you got Justin Jefferson. We know what Justin Jefferson can do. He's got more targets, more yards, but he doesn't have the touchdowns. So who would you pick right now?
Uh, I have Chase. I don't have Jefferson anywhere. So for me, it's almost a loaded question. Like I'm following my boy Chase through there. The it's a I would take both of them. I would go with Chase because I think you're looking at two different built teams. The Bengals are built to pass. The Vikings they're gonna pass, and they're a sneaky passing team, but they're built and wanting to run. So as long as Cook and Madison are there, they're gonna feed them, and they're still gonna pass. But the Bengals said, "Hey, we don't want a good offensive line. We're gonna take Jamar Chase." That's always been our argument. That's been anybody's argument for why he better be good. And he's throwing up the touchdowns. I mean, he's only getting he's not getting Mike Williams. He's getting half the catches of Mike Williams. So as he gets more comfortable, he is a rookie, and I think the ceiling for this dude is crazy. Those two guys are going to be competing for best receiver in the league, I think, for many years. But I'm going to go Chase just because I think of the way the offenses are, the goals of each offense, and the Steelers defense is supposed to be good, right?
I mean, I guess we'll see, but I'm gonna. Yeah, I like Chase too. I'm going down. That's who I would pick. I like
So
his upside a little better than Jefferson's.
yeah, it's because you traded away Justin Jefferson's got to be why. So you get some rookies. But my guy, this is a painful one to say. Not really, because my Dolphins played like garbage this week, but Derek Carr, the Raiders and the Chargers, I can't wait till that game. Although in the grand scheme, I thought most of the Raiders looked kind of like poo, and the Dolphins looked like garbage. But the Raiders let them stay in that game. That game should not have come down to 2 seconds left in the stinking overtime because the Dolphins had the good first two touchdowns and the good last quarter. In the middle, the Raiders should have put up another 20, 30 points, and they just couldn't seal the deal a lot. But Carr threw for another 386 and two touchdowns. That's just crazy talk. Um, he's killing it this year. Is Carr gonna end the season? I'm not gonna say top 12. I'm gonna go top 10. Like
Top 10. He could be. I mean, like 3 solid weeks, and the offense is good. I mean, the receivers are finally starting to play pretty well. I mean, there's been some Henry Ruggs sightings the last 2 weeks. Uh, what's the other guy's name? Uh,
Brian Edwards.
Brian Edwards. Yeah, I love that guy. Completely flipped on that one.
Well, he only plays one
He's
quarter
putting
a
up,
game.
he's putting up yards, making some big plays. Of course, you got Waller and then Renfro. I mean, they're all making plays. I mean, they look good on offense. Their defense can maintain. I mean, I think top 10. It could happen.
He's sitting around number 9 right now based upon your scoring. So I mean, they're passing. Even with, I mean, Peyton Barber still ran for 111 yards. That would have been I should have put him as my sneaky play of the week. I just wasn't sure about Jacobs at that point because the Dolphins can't stop a running back. But Carr's passing. He looks confident. He's got the team that believes in him because he's told the team, I'm a Raider. There's no way around it. I am a Raider or I'm not a football player. And if somebody said that and that was on my team, I'd follow that man into war anywhere I'm going. And I think that's what they're doing this year. So it's the is the theme of this week the AFC West. I don't even really like that division. So you had Mike Williams for the Chargers. I had Carr for the Raiders, and now we're hitting the. I'm going to close out mine
Division.
with the Denver Broncos. Dude, the AFC West best division in football currently
It could
with
be.
the Chiefs stinking.
It's pretty impressive. Chiefs. Whether the Chiefs are the worst team.
Yes, the Chiefs are the worst on paper right now. You got the 3-0 Broncos. I think Chargers are 2-1, and the Raiders 2-1. So the Chiefs are the worst team in this division. That could be a bad thing for them going far if they're going to beat each other up. One of these good teams is going to not make it into them. Maybe that'll be a question I'll ask in a moment here. But the Broncos, are they good or are they just playing bad competition? I mean, they're 3-0, but really, I think most teams could beat the Giants, Jets, and Jaguars. Are they fool's gold?
I would probably agree. And if they keep losing receivers, it'd be even
Why is
worse. But
Josh
yeah,
Gordon not there?
they're obviously playing bad teams. The Giants haven't won a game. They lost to Atlanta, so they're really bad. The Jets, they look really bad, and yeah, they all. There's just it's bad competition. So once they start playing these better teams, and we can see where they really stand, that can actually score. But I mean, their defense has been playing really well. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm not buying into it yet.
Here we go. Ravens, Steelers, Raiders. It's going to be a 3-week test. It depends on what Steelers team is playing, but Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, right there we go. And we'll see if they're. What do you think? How many games of those can they win?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they go 0-3 on those.
I think after last week they could beat the Steelers.
Or they definitely could be. Yeah, maybe 1-2. I'd say 1-2 is probably more realistic.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they go 0-3.
Heck, I wouldn't be shocked with 3-0 the way the year is going for some of these teams, man.
Yeah. So speaking of the Steelers and how bad they are, and keep losing wide receivers. I think we asked the question last week: who would pick up the missing targets from Deontay Harris? And evidently, not Deontay, not Harris, Deontay Johnson. Evidently, it's Najee Harris who's picking up those targets. I mean,
He only had a couple though.
10 catches for 104 yards. I mean, he's getting those dink and dunk passes, killing the fantasy, your fantasy, helping you out so much. And then watching
He had
another
19
guy
targets.
play, and Jonathan Taylor, who hasn't really been that impressive, right? He's got a few yards, not getting any touchdowns, averaging 4 yards a carry. That team doesn't look good at all. So I pose the question: who would you rather have, Jonathan Taylor or Najee Harris?
I mean, they both are in different situations going forward. It depends upon, in the grand scheme, I would, I have Najee Harris more, but I almost would rather have Jonathan Taylor because I think he's going to be on a better team if they get Carson healthy. If Carson's not healthy, I mean, good grief, 19 targets. Is Najee Harris going to get 19 targets every week? Like that, that's unfathomable. If he does, Najee Harris any day of the week. So personally, I'll have Najee Harris all year. I've got him on a dynasty, got him on a redraft league. He's awesome. Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor is a monster, but I gotta retract what I just said. It's gotta be Najee Harris. I'm following the money. Not the
Yeah, I
money.
mean,
I'm
I
following
would
this. It
go
smells good
Najee
there.
Harris at the moment. Like I said, for it's a good decision to have, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would probably pick Najee just because of the passing he's going to receive. 'Cause Taylor just doesn't get it. I mean, obviously he's not going to get his points from the run. He's only averaging like 3 yards a carry, so
Yeah.
not good.
But before we go to our favorite segment of the week, who is going to win the AFC West?
Oh man, that's a tough one. You know what? I'm going to say the Chargers.
Ooh.
I say the Chargers win. I'm not going to delve into why I think that. I'm just that's I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I'm not going to bet against Pat Mahomes. They're going. I think them, just like the Bucks, are going to rebound, and they're going to make us look foolish because they're just good teams. Both those teams did not look too good this week, but I think they're going to rebound. But then I guess the bigger question is, I think we both agree probably the Broncos are going to miss out. Do the Raiders and Chargers get in, or do you think the Raiders are going to miss the playoffs just barely?
I think they'll both get in. I think, of course, the Raiders are making it as a wild card. There is that extra team going in, right?
Yeah, it'd
In
be
the
wild.
AFC
Yeah.
playoffs. So I think the Raiders make it in. I think they both make it.
Okay, we'll see how it pans out as we go through the season. But that's going to be an interesting one to watch. And the cool thing is, we'll get to watch them because they're going to be the late game that we can roll through. So here we go. One of our favorite segments of the week, Surefire Waste of a Touchdown this week. So in the game that I was focusing on in the afternoon, I got two of them. Well, we're on the 1 yard line. Derek Carr is throwing a touchdown. It must be a 1 yard Raiders touchdown catch to Darren Waller. Nope. Alec Ingold, 1 yard touchdown for the fullback. That is,
Surefire waste of a touchdown.
earlier in the game, Miles Gaskin, 24-yard touchdown run. No, oh man, that's Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, I actually had this guy in the league. Didn't start him.
Me
Surefire
too.
waste of a touchdown.
1 yard touchdown run for the 49ers. Oh, yeah. Trey Sermon finally getting rolling. He's going to get it. It's him. And no, oh, wait. I had to put this one in just to get you. Trey Lance 1 yard touchdown run during
Love,
his 30 seconds of play.
yeah, I love this guy. Got him several places. Of course, didn't start him. Surefire waste of a touchdown.
Oh, and if you started him, you're not winning a lot anyway. Oh, here we go. We are in Tennessee. They have those big studly receivers on the outside. We open up with a 6 yard touchdown reception. It's got to be AJ Brown before he gets hurt. Oh, wait. Nope, that's Chester Rogers.
Don't know this guy at all. Surefire waste of a touchdown.
Oh, AJ Brown goes down. That must mean it is going to be the Julio Jones show. 18-yard Tennessee touchdown for Nick Westbrook Aquina?
Don't know this guy either. Surefire waste of a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, we're going to Atlanta. My boy Calvin Ridley, 4 yard touchdown catch. Wait, nope, it's UVA's own Olamide Zacchaeus.
I like him a little bit, but surefire waste of a touchdown.
Oh, let's go to Kansas City. Those disappointing Chiefs. Tyreek Hill or Travis. No, it's Tyreek Hill. 2 yard touchdown reception for a wide receiver. Oh, wait, no. Turn that number around. That's Jody Fortson. Who?
Surefire waste of a touchdown.
And finally, we're in Minnesota, 7-yard touchdown. There's a bigger guy in the end zone. Justin Jefferson must have it. Nope, that's a tight end. He's got broader shoulders. It's Conklin?
He looked good.
Yeah, he did.
Still, surefire ways to the touchdown.
Not next week. He might be started for some teams. So there's much others, but wow, there are some dumpster touchdowns. There's points left in the waiver wire right there. I don't know if any of those guys I would pick up. I mean, obviously Trey Lance, but nobody else there.
I'm in need of some tight end help pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
So I might be a league. I might take Conklin in. But speaking of the pickup of the week, go through this. I got a guy and maybe another one. See if you're interested in my guy. The first one is AJ Green. So he looks good out there. He's playing 80% of the snaps, getting six targets a game. Last week he had a touchdown. This week he had over 100 yards. More receivers are getting involved in that offense. You know, Kyler throws for a lot of yards. So I think I might take a shot on AJ Green. I know there's that injury history there, but I think we'll see. And then another guy that kind of was showing some stuff in the preseason and in training camp, got a little buzz on. Maybe coming back to practice this week. N'Keal Harry, you interested in him at all?
Not at all. No interest. Yeah, he's still flopping my book. AJ, if I have a roster spot and he's there, I'll throw him there because of pedigree. N'Keal Harry, nope. I think he's been on and off a couple of my teams. He's got to prove something. I don't want to look cute and waste a roster spot on a guy that, as far as I'm concerned, has been a super duper flop. My pickup of the week is going to be a pickup just for a couple weeks, but if you can get him, it's worth having. Chuba Hubbard, I have him in a league that I drafted him because I liked him coming into the league. I hated the landing spot, but with my thought that I'm worried about Christian McCaffrey, having him as a running back in Carolina, maybe as Christian comes back, they'll say, hey, let's not get Christian murdered. But Chuba Hubbard's going to start this week, maybe a couple more weeks. If you can get him, grab him. He's probably not available. Or if you got him, call that Christian McCaffrey owner and see what you can do, because you might get a solid wide receiver that you can plug in, because you probably don't need Chuba Hubbard as a starting running back. If you do, then
you're in trouble.
Throw him in there this week.
Yeah, I mean, good soft face. I mean, he did all right. The rushing yards are there. The opportunity is going to be there. It's just whether or not he can catch those passes. But he didn't do bad. But yeah, he's probably the number one pickup this week if he's out there.
Yep. And as we close out today, we want to send our thoughts and prayers out to the Tagliere family. Mike Tagliere from the Fantasy Pros. We both have listened to him, appreciate his work. Passed away at 39 from COVID. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your whole personal family and the Fantasy Pros. I know the fantasy community is devastated by this loss because he gave a lot to it. We know we both have listened to him and appreciate his work.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, I've listened to him pretty much since I started listening to fantasy. He's been one of the go-tos. But yeah, like the guy. Sorry for his family.
Okay, close us out, JJ Wang, with some wisdom of the week and send us home.
All right. So sometimes you're just going to have some bad weeks. You're going to be wrong a lot. But at the end of the day, just don't let it get you down. You can rebound. It's fantasy. One week you can look stupid, and the next week you can look smart. So just remember, trust yourself and trust the process.